Termoigen. 2,000 years ago, someone carved an underground world into solid rock. 24 chambers. Columns were precisely spaced to hold the ceiling 5. Proof of real engineering, not random digging into a hillside.
And yet, in a civilization that documented nearly everything, from tax records to court gossip, not one single line mentions this place. No name, no builder, no purpose written down anywhere, a total silence. This is the Longyou Caves, in Zhejiang Province, eastern China Visaine, one of the largest hand-carved excavations in the ancient world. For centuries, they sat hidden and submerged, mistaken by local legend for nothing more than a set of bottomless ponds. What could demand this much labor, this much precision, and still be erased so completely from memory itself? That question is what pulled researchers back here, again and again, for more than 30 years since their discovery. Today, we're going to look at what they found here, and what still refuses to be fully explained. In June of 1992, 4 farmers in the small village of Xi'an set out to settle an old local legend
that a cluster of ponds on their land were bottomless.
They brought in a hydraulic pump and began draining the water, expecting mud or nothing at all. Instead, as the water level dropped, stone began to appear, not natural rock, but walls, carved with unmistakable precision.
5 caverns emerged first. Archaeologists were called in, and as excavation continued, 19 more chambers were discovered nearby,
bringing the total to 24. Each cavern descended roughly 30 meters, with rooms, internal bridges, and connecting passages. Every surface bore the same signature, long, parallel chisel strokes, remarkably consistent across the entire site.
The scale of the excavation is what stops researchers cold.
Engineers estimate nearly 1 million cubic meters of sandstone were removed to create the full complex. Using working calculations, that's roughly the equivalent of 1,000 laborers working around the clock for 6 years, without factoring in the time needed for the careful, precise carving itself. Stone columns were left standing at calculated intervals throughout each chamber, engineered specifically to support the vaulted ceilings above.
Proof of real structural planning, not random digging. Some chambers include drainage channels and connecting bridges.
Pottery and tools recovered from the site date to the reign of Emperor Xuan of the Western Han Dynasty,
Placing construction at roughly 2,000 years old. The engineering itself is not in question.
What remains completely unresolved is who commanded a labor force this size, and why they left absolutely nothing in writing.
Here is where the mystery deepens.
Carved with the same techniques, the same parallel chisel marks, the same unexplained silence in the historical record. 2 massive, technically related excavations, separated by real distance, and neither one written down anywhere. For a dynasty known for bureaucratic obsession, this isn't just an oversight to Tate. It looks deliberate. Some researchers now believe both sites may have been built and then intentionally left out of the official record.
Perhaps for military secrecy. Perhaps because of who ordered them built.
If true, that reframes the entire mystery. This wasn't forgotten history.
It may have been history, that was never meant to be found. Several serious theories have been proposed.
Dr. Chu Liangkai of Zhejiang University suggests the caves were built as wartime storage, grain, and weapons for Han Dynasty border garrisons. But there's a problem. The caves flood easily during rain, and ancient China had no reliable pumps to keep stored grain dry underground. That weakness has pushed some researchers toward a second theory, Wujidleaf, that the site was simply a quarry.
Its scale explained by ordinary, if massive, resource extraction. A third theory suggests an imperial purpose entirely, a hidden palace, or even a mausoleum.
Built for someone whose identity was meant to stay unknown.
Each theory explains part of the evidence.
None of them explain all of it. And without a single surviving document, there may be no way to ever confirm which one is correct. More than 30 years after their rediscovery, the Longyou Caves remain formally unexplained.
Precise enough that musicians now perform concerts inside them, in spaces carved by hands that left no name behind.
Visitors walk through columns engineered with real structural knowledge, built by a workforce large enough to require serious organization. Organization that, by every written record we have, simply never happened. The caves ask a question that goes beyond who built them.
How much of the past disappears not through decay, but through silence?
2,000 years later, the Longyou Caves are still keeping their answer to themselves.
The file is closed. The mystery remains.